7th of June 2025. I'd rather make less videos, but there's such a state of chaos in the world. I have to cover it. Food, glorious food, cold jelly and mustard, hot sausage and custard. Food. You have to eat a bit. I like to eat well, and if I eat junk food, it's only on an emergency basis. I went with the family to London years ago, and a nice evening meal was something like £600. And only for McDonald's we'd have had to pay it. When I was a boy, we always cooked well here. We're one of the only houses that wouldn't let the dogs or cats eat off the plates. A lot of people would, now not them all. And I remember I used to go to work in a place, I went round with a binder and I'd be gathering spuds. My parents would send me round to gather spuds up off the ground. There's a difference in gathering spuds and picking spuds. Gathering spuds is where you lift them up off the ground after a digger. Picking spuds is where you pick them and sort them out according to size and condition, out of a pit usually. Anyway, there was this particular woman, and I remember she asked me to go to help her to go to the well. And there was two geese swimming in the well. It was a big open well. And she took the water out of it and brought it down to make the tea. And I've seen her doing that when there was a threshing mill, when there'd be people around. And when the belt had come off the mill, when the threshing was done, everyone would come and help. They'd all run out. And there'd be nobody there, only one or two for the grub. And she couldn't get the idea. The reason they wouldn't eat, she choked. You die with it. And she often gave me, I was too young to know, maybe beef or lamb chops. And you'd see the track of her teeth where she'd eat up to the bone and she couldn't get any more. I wouldn't eat it. Might eat a spud maybe a mug of tea. And she bought a cooker of a man. He was an undertaker. She's dead long ago. She bought a cooker, a gas cooker, and the Jubilee clip wasn't put on correctly on the regulator. And she complained, and he came down. And he looked at it, and he seen it was the Jubilee clip, and he fixed it. And then it was running right. But he didn't check the oven. So he decided he checked the oven. He opened the oven, and she didn't bake in it, apparently. She had a cooker for that, a range. And there was a hen hatching in the cooker. Now, she married into a fine place, but she couldn't cook for nuts. And that's the condition. Now, I was in the Gardaí, and in the latter years, there was no cooking facilities except maybe coffee or tea and a biscuit. That was it. Some of the lads would bring in maybe a pre-cooked meal and have it in the microwave. In the latter time, they came out, but they're only a recent thing, those pre-cooked meals, Little Chef and all those. But I was in a particular station, I won't tell you where, and I was about 26, and there was a chap in it with me, and there was another lad came, and he was through with her. He used to scrape the toast out on the ground, and I'd be telling me you can't do that, because the superintendent let us stay in the station on condition that we kept it clean. And there was cooker and that in it, and I used to make hot whiskies for the men going off at 6 in the morning. I'd make really good hot whiskies. I used to love them. Oh, Whiten liked me a lot, it was me slagging them, but I could make the hot whiskies. And I'm a good cook. But this other chap anyway, he was down from County Laois. He died of cancer since. He was a nice lad, a bit odd in ways, but very nice. But we'd cook together, and we'd go out to the butcher's, and we'd get 2 good steaks. And we'd get a surprise peas, the frozen peas, and Kerr pink spuds. And we'd cook this, and sometimes we'd be finished at 2. So you could put on your meal at maybe 1:25 and have it cooking. And as soon as the relief unit came in, you could go and have your dinner. So there was nobody minded, you were in the station and that was it. That station is gone, closed long ago. And the new Garda stations don't really have those facilities. But we were sleeping in the station. Anyway, one of the things we began to see, when you'd finish at 2 o'clock and bring out this meal, your T-bone steak, which contains a fillet, or maybe a sirloin, your lovely peas, all cooked at the right rate, and your potatoes, and a big lump of butter, and a drink of something, water or milk or something. When you'd have this out here, the men coming in on the new shift and going off would look at it, and I seen them almost fainting with the shock. Now, not all the guards were like that. There was some guards who wasn't like that. Some of them were, "Oh, you're having the dinner. That's a good looking meal." And we just wanted to eat our meal. But some of them, it was quite obvious they never bought food or understand what good food was. And it was quite obvious that the women couldn't cook for nuts. And they saw this feed. And they'd be going to a dinner dance or something and they'd be talking about, "We got a good meal now." And I wouldn't think it that good, but the reason they thought it was good, they were getting nothing at home. Nothing nice. Now, all the guards used to eat hard-boiled eggs. In the city of Dublin, they nearly all bring in a hard-boiled egg, two hard-boiled eggs, and they'll have the hard-boiled egg and bread and sandwich and tea at lunch at the break time at 1 o'clock in the morning. Inspector, sergeant and all. That was the hard-boiled egg. It was very handy, and it didn't do them any harm. I know one fella used to eat two of them, and he's 102. But he drank plenty of whiskey as well, especially if he got it for nothing. But I used to find it very, very uncomfortable. They're sitting down, going to enjoy my meal, and this constant looking, and they nearly stick their head in, and you'd be trying to get the food up, and they'd be wondering, would you put a bit this way and give them a lump of it? They'd nearly ask you for a piece of it. And I think on one occasion I did say, "Will you check a bit?" or I had a second fork. "Oh, lovely, it's good." But the bottom line is they had no concept of good food. Yet when I was going around with the binder along and going to Tresham, some people were great cooks. There was a woman up here and she used to do lovely food, lovely roast beef and carrots. And she could do them with butter and they'd be great and they'd be beautiful. Now, I'm a good cook. I have to say it to you, I'm a good cook. And if I cooked a meal for you, the ingredients would be good. I know the meat. I know how to source the meat. And there's the thing about lamb. If you buy lamb, if a butcher buys lamb of a man that's all doing sheep, it's not of the same quality as lamb that's mixed cattle and sheep. The right lamb is cattle and sheep. Now, my fences here, I don't know what they fit. I don't have time to keep sheep. I'd love to, but I have a lot of road going through my farm, so they'll be probably breaking out. But the thing about it is, that's the real good meat, not overgrazed land that's mixed. So if I had a few sheep here, they'd be excellent sheep. They'd be excellent lambs. But anyway, that's another story. So there's fish and there's all of that. And I often saw fish for sale at the markets in Dublin long ago. They'd have and there'd be maggots coming out of them. I often wonder what that's about. Anyone want to post little wiry wagon? There's a wee bit of a near plug here. Little things like that, and them creeping around out of the white fish in particular. I think the red smoked fish doesn't do it. Anyway, that's the story. Now, we have a situation now in Ireland where a good 40% can't cook at all, and the women can't cook. And I'm not against a bit of soccer games or anything else, a bit of fun at a match. And if I go to a local match where my team's playing, the other rows would be all over the place. I'd be embarrassed myself the following day. Did I make a show of myself? But the thing about it is, a lot of them can't cook. And I like a nice half one and whiskey and a nice pint when I'm in the humour. And you see, I can appreciate it. A lot of people can't appreciate the taste, drinking spirits or beer or wine for the actual taste and the pleasure of it from consuming it. It's gulp it down and, you feel a bit better. They have no taste like that at all. And nowadays, you have the situation in Ireland, for those of you who are abroad. In Italy, you won't get a chip shop, but in Ireland, the Italians and them have chip shops. They're everywhere. They're all eating out of the chip shops. They can't cook. The Sunday dinner will not comprise a roast or a nice lamb casserole, which is a good lamb casserole is the last word. And even vegetarians, I wouldn't really go to vegetarians, but still, if you have cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, and you're eating that, it still needs to be cooked right. The carrot takes twice the time of the cauliflower. And these idiots don't know that. And so the cauliflower is overcooked and the carrots is as hard as the hob of hell. And so it's down to the chipper. And now in Ireland you have a huge industry with people with motorbike with a big black bag, and you go into the chipper, they put this up and the orders comes in, and there's as much paper as there is food. And splash on the vinegar, sauce on the burger, and that's delivered to the door. So it's getting to the stages, a lot of the ones who think they're a bit upper class don't want to be seen going to the chipper. If I wanted a battered sausage or two, and they're gone lamentably bad quality now. They used to be nice. Used to be you could get 2 battered sausages on their own. But the sausages in the chipper are not good sausages. They're some kind of old hog bacon. They're not like Donnelly's. Donnelly's skinless sausages are nice sausages. Denny's is nice sausages. Malins aren't bad. And they're Clonakilty, they're all good. Why can't they produce them for the chip shop? No, it's old hog bacon to get rid of the sows and the hog that you get. And they don't even, they don't keep good. They split them and they don't be good. The spice burger, not that good either. The chicken should be all right if it's Irish chicken. It's probably one of the best if it's properly cooked. But it's best done in the oven. We cooked chicken yesterday, done in the oven, and it was lovely and floury. Chicken should not have any shininess to it. Shouldn't be like ice. It should be fluffy. So cooking is a skill, and it used to be taught in home economics. And God help any man that marries one or woman that marries a man and can't cook. And there's a lot of women now marrying men that can cook, and they're choosing them because they know how to cook, because they haven't got a clue. Then, of course, some of the men, nobody else would have them. Mightn't be blessed with good looks. Mightn't be like me, That'll put the lefties going now. Give them something to grow up. So that's the situation. You are what you eat, to say. Oh, I was in digs, and generally bad old hog bacon. And I was in digs where the fork, I have no fork here, folks, and the fork, you'd go in, I'd come in at maybe 2 o'clock in the day, or maybe at tea time, and they'd give you a fork for your dinner or whatever, and you could see if there was salad the evening before, the egg would be stuck, the hard-boiled egg, or the runny egg. They'd give you a runny egg on the lettuce, and the runny egg would be still on the fork. They wouldn't clean between the forks. They just didn't have the concept. And I knew a woman that used to send out creamery milk to the creamery, and she used to wash the can with her knickers, with old wasted drawers, bloomers. And the lid would be sort of up on it like this, like it'd be kind of up like this, and there'd be snails going into it. We'd be coming from school. And then when you were hired long ago, from about 1900 till about 1940, hired out, a young lad had hire out with a farmer's place. There was 3 hired servants here in the 1901 census. And the whole thing was to get good food. And I mean, some of these people couldn't feed themselves. You got £6 a half year. £6 a half year. They couldn't feed themselves, and how would they expect to feed you? I wouldn't have water. I opened a well up there, a long distance up, and it's hard to get the water out of it. Lovely water. I won't drink the water in the town. I won't drink the water. The water in Cavan Town is shocking stuff. Oh, it's dirty. You can see the dirt in it. In Dublin, it's abysmal. And it's full of old HRT from various people taking drugs and taking estrogen and the contraceptive pill. And no wonder they're all going transsexual. The poor children is getting this. Do not feed Dublin water to your children. It's a pity, like there must be wells around the city. There has to be wells in the Phoenix Park. And that'd be a great project for a politician to get going. Do up the well and put a little wee pump on it that you can fill up your can of water. That'd be a lovely facility to have. Jenny Mac, it's unbelievable stuff. I mean, I might drink a cup of tea there. I remember one time a lad rang me here, Valley, off today, what? My man is sick, and I knew the man. Your man used to do work for me. What's wrong with him? He's sick. And he said, you're not able to come. What's up with you? I want to deliver a wardrobe. He was a furniture man, and he wanted to deliver a wardrobe up to Monkstown in Dublin. I'll go. I'll give you something. I'll give me something again. You know, the usual old crack. And I went up. This is about 10 years ago. And it was a lady working on her own, and we delivered in the wardrobe. And she says, she was a very nice person. She was 35, no man about. She says, what about a cup? We'll have a cup of something. And it's whatever you want. I can only make coffee. She couldn't even make tea. And a biscuit. And do you not cook? Never cooked. Oh, how do you manage to eat? I work at the bank, and the bank has a canteen, and I eat there. And on Sunday, I go over to my mother's. Could you fry a rasher? No. Could you make porridge? No. Could you boil potatoes? No. 35-year-old Dublin woman. And a good, nice lady. And that's something. Huh? She couldn't boil an egg for nuts. I could do that at 11. At 11. No bother. And some youngsters, maybe the parents die and they have to do it. And they do it. Once you have the bit of heat. But cooking is mainly about hygiene, good ingredients and timing. For example, if you're boiling anything, put in a bit of a carrot. If the carrot's done, all the rest are done. The carrot is the slowest to cook. So you might want to take out your cauliflower a bit sooner. But no, they put the whole lot in and expect it all to be the same, and it doesn't work like that. Making white sauce, you have to get your white sauce, your parsley sauce. It has to be stirred. You can't just put the heat on. You have to give it and that's a bit of work, Not like me, with all my experience and everything, mashing up the thing, but you'll not have the same place or cod lunch without it. Get me point. Right, folks, that's it. Comment underneath. Oh, it's a terror. Like they're just living out of chip shops. And then the government gives them yolks to test to see is it done and make sure it's done. And Dunn stores do a lot of good chicken there. Generally, the barbecue chicken is good. But you'll get often the other bits, the drumsticks and the wings and that, not properly cooked everywhere. So that's to watch for. Chicken should not be slippy. It should not have an icy colour or glassy colour. Chicken should have a rosy colour. You know the way if you don't cook a potato enough, it's shiny on the inside. It should be floury. If you don't cook chicken good enough, it'll be shiny. It won't be floury. But get to know these things. So I don't know any more than that. It's just a pity that you can't eat. But the left-wingers, the people who vote Labour and vote Sinn Féin and vote for people for profit, they can't cook at all. They're all chip shop men. They're all for the black bag at the door. They can't cook, and they can't vote, and they can't do anything. It's yet to have a say in who gets to run the government. And the Greens, Raymond Ryan, growing his lettuce on the south-facing window. Cabbage head. No, they can't. It's not taught in school. And you have to eat, as someone said, you need the farmer 3 times a day. A doctor only needs maybe once a year, if you need him that at all. I could do it the dentist 1 or 2 days, but, you need the farmer all the time, and then they keep punishing the farmer. But that's another day's work. So that's my story on food. Let's see, can I think of anything else? Definitely the snacking going along in the car. I try to avoid that altogether. And the right way, if you're going away, is go in for a proper meal, if there is anywhere doing it, and pay the bit extra. Or bring your sandwiches and your flask. Now, I'm drinking severe amounts of tea all my life, and I'm still here. I don't think it's any harm. It's really liquid, and you need liquid. If you didn't drink tea, you'd need to drink liquid. Those coffees you get in the service stations, they're a hard dose now. Those coffee lattes, they're full of milk, full of lactose. I don't like them that well. So, bring in the flask if you could get it and have your hot water with you. I wonder is there a yoke that'll boil water using the battery of the car, so there should be a thing like that. Or even a wee gas cooker to cook your cup of tea and pull up along there. There's plenty of places along the road and have your wee bit of grub. But anyway, that's the story. I always notice when I'm cooking or eating or going to the ploughing championship or going to some other show or other, and I do that and have out the flask. If somebody know me, I'll just nearly ask you, just give us a drop of that. And as I say, I'm not saying all the guards in the stations I was in wouldn't cook and wouldn't eat right, but there was about 25 or 6% that would be physically shocked at a good meal. They weren't getting good meals. They were getting the one old thing all day. And when you get up in the morning and come in your lunch, and if I'm eating here, you have to decide, what am I going to get? What will I get today now? I had beef yesterday. I had chicken the day before. What about a bit of red fish, smoked cod? Yeah. What about a fry? I don't go too often, but a few sausages, bit of spud. You need to eat some wee bit, but I find if I have one decent meal around 3 o'clock, that's it. I don't need anything after that. But I eat then I have my breakfast in the morning, and I eat a good lot of bread. Doesn't seem to be doing me any harm, and I'm not fat like. But then I'm very, very active. So that's all I can say to you. It's another big problem for older people. When you get into your 80s, how do you cook? And when you get into your 85s and 86s, will there come a time when you won't be able to cook a little bit for yourself? And there's another problem with medication. Some people begin to lose their cognitive ability. And did you take the tablets? Maybe take the tablets first thing in the morning and then forget and take them again. I'd say there's an awful lot of health issues with that. I don't fully have the answer. It's a wonder there's not a little automated thing with a battery in it that you could press the button and it's either there or it isn't on the particular date. I don't know, but anyway, I'm only mentioning that. That's a separate issue. Right, folks, comment underneath on 20 minutes. The big bag, the couch, the big bag, the kebab, the burger, the big chip, the curry chip. What a disgusting food is chips with curry. The curry chip, the what else? Oh my God! Don't force me to go there. Oh, whip! And then they're not given cod. They call it cod and chips. It's at the best it's haddock, and in some cases it's monkfish and other old kinds of fish, catfish and dogfish. And get it delivered nicely up to the door. Big can of sugary what do you call it? Orange or 7-Up or Coke. Usually Coke. Big can of Coke. Gulp it down. Plenty of sugar. Gulp down the vinegar, gulp down the salt, sodium chloride, bad for your blood pressure. Ate the chips, good, bad or indifferent, black, dirty or anything else, big old burger with it, gallop her down, and then slosh down the Coke on top of it. And then sure, if you have a few old cans of porter, no harm, and sit back and put the feet up and blow and puff and watch watch some team in the southeast of England out of a village playing someplace else up in Cumbria or somewhere, and get very excited and start roaring and bawling, and poor children looking at that, and then they're smoking, and kids just there having to inhale that smoke instead of going outside. Now some people are getting better. They do go out and they do that. I don't want to be too tough on that. And I'm not against I'm not for crucifying smokers either, but I mean with those kids, you can smell it. I used to live beside a smoking couple, and one time I ran out of tea and they sent me in tea, the bottom of the teapot. I couldn't drink it. It was just impregnated with cigarette smoke. Anyway, that's enough given out. Hungry. They're talking about well-being. They're talking about public health. They're wondering why there's so many health issues. Sure, if you're eating junk food, fries essentially, all done in oil, cheap oil, and if you're eating that night, noon and morning, and a big feed of it every day, you couldn't be right. In all fairness, it'd kill me. It would kill me. I could be seeing a McDonald's in autumn, but I try and keep McDonald's to once a week. And I'd say if you measured my McDonald's visits, it's about once every 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. That's it. But then if people can't afford it, but you can get potatoes in Ireland. Potatoes are not dear. So potatoes and a bit of spread would keep you from dying. If you had a rasher with it, it wouldn't be too bad, or a bit of white pudding actually is a much underrated food. As I told you, I think before, I went over with another guard one time to London to interview a man on sex. He came in voluntary to be interviewed, and but we were going down. We didn't allow enough time, and we had a rush all the way. But we went into an eating place in Seven Sisters Road, and he gave us, all he had was egg chips. So he made the chips and he put raw egg on them, and he put it back in the oven, and he never cooked the egg properly. The idea was that there'd be egg, a bit like, the egg rice you get in the Indian restaurant. They'd be done like that. It wasn't properly done. The raw egg was on the chips, and there was us starving. And that's what he was dishing up in the middle of London. I'm telling you. Right, folks, we had to bring the flask, but then you'd be on the airplane and all that. But that's another issue. So comment underneath, all you lefties. Yous are eating out junk food. Yous are living on Coke. Yous have no brains at all. And you wouldn't understand a good meal if it was given to you. And as I have said, in most of the defence forces, in the army, they give us good enough food. In Templemore, in the Garda Training Centre, I was the only one praised the food. they'd give you a nice bit of fish, a nice bit of done in an oven, and a little bit of white sauce. And there was golden wonder potatoes from Tipperary. The inspector of prisons was over the food. And it'd be nice food, not too much. And they give you a nice tea. You could get an egg for your breakfast, or some other wee thing for your breakfast, light breakfast. You could have a cup of tea, buy it yourself at 11. Then there was the main meal of the day, and you got the good potatoes and butter, all you could eat, glass of milk or a glass of water, or whatever you wanted, and you got whatever meat was, and it wouldn't be too much, but it'd be adequate. And then it'd come to evening time, you might get fish, or you might get a little bit of ham and tomato, and it was grand. And then you could buy yourself a cup of tea in the evening. And I was buying at that time, so I mean, that's a long time ago, and I'm still here. But the point about it is, I was the only one ever praised the food. They wanted to run it down. The whole place was a bit of a disaster from a point of view of a trading policeman. But from the food issue, it was good. And oh no, you were a wrong one to mention it was good, mention it was good. And then they'd go out to landladies and they'd burn water, hog bacon. And they'd say, it's good enough, it's not bad, not bad, and it's cheap. And then the guards would be doing protection of quarries and things. And they'd get a big feed of fries, swimming in grace. There'd be that depth of grace. And the beans, the baked beans, the tomato sauce, it'd be mixing with the grace. And 2 eggs. Oh, we got 2 eggs. Oh, we got 2 fried eggs. And big lumps of sausages. Not this type of big old hog bacon sausage. And rashers, and wouldn't be nice rashers. I'd know hog bacon a mile away, or old sow bacon. Oh man dear, they'd lift it and they'd put a napkin on it. Ew, and they'd be gobbling this up, and oh, so great, we got this and got that. You see, they stopped a little bit of your allowance for it, but not much. You're allowed a meal, not taken away from your main meal. They treated us all right. That wasn't the guards that was wrong. They were treating the staff all right from the point of view of subsistence and keeping you going. But the guards wouldn't want anything other a big fry. And up in the Garda headquarters in Dublin, I'd go up with exhibits and photographs and things like that and fingerprints. And that'd be a day out for you, and you'd go up and there was a canteen there, and all they had was chips, more or less chips, that's all. And very seldom you get nice potatoes. Maybe it's different now. But I remember saying to the lady there who was running it, I'm surprised you don't do a nice healthy meal there, a nice bit of roast beef or some good quality. I had all that, she says. I had nothing of this chips at all. The guards wouldn't eat it. They wouldn't buy it. They'd do without it. I had to start the chicken, Kentucky fry. I had to start the sausages, the bacon, the fish and chips, more chips, and all that worried them, chips, more chips, more chips. So all I had to do was put on buckets and buckets of chips, buckets of them, and do them in a curry. Oh, yuck, yucky curry chips, my God. And plenty of sauce, grubble on the sauce. And mind dear, the guards, big country lads would drive in there and they'd see them coming with their dinner, sitting down looking for a chat. And I'd tell them, slosh on the sauce, and be sloshing it on. Sauce on the burgers. As Pat Short would say, sauce on the he's diner. They'd be wobbling the sauce on, the sauce, and oh Jesus, I would keep it on here. And they'd be pounding like this, and they'd be gobbling it like this. And I was down in a very real country station, temporary duty one time, and the landlady was feeding us there, and there was an old lad used to come in, and he used to get the spoon. We'll use the phone as the spoon, and he'd look round him, and he'd have mashed spuds. That's all he'd have is mashed spuds of gravy. He'd fill it on the spud, and because I couldn't understand what this was for, didn't I see it in some video later? In olden times, if you had food, somebody grab it. You couldn't have a bit of beef or a bit of bacon for your family. The neighbours would come over and grab it. This was all the time. They'd nearly know where there was a bit of food. And when you were putting the spud on like this and bringing it up, someone like that would take it. And I saw an old fella doing that, protecting himself. And no one behind, there was people behind him, but they wouldn't take his food. But that was the instinct was bred into him. Look round you, get the food, watch it here, and get it up as quick as you could, because somebody to whip it. That's my story. Now, I must say there were some guards were very clean and very tidy, I have no problem eating in their houses, no problem. There's a difference in people. Some people just know it and some people don't. But it's a big thing in a partner. What happens if the man is great and clean and she's a dirty old yoke? Or what if she's a tidy person and he's a dirty old yoke? Well, there's a struggle there straight away. So it's a question of compatibility. Now, I want the lefties here to be as insulting on this video as you can. Tell you, because you are living on old junk, old chip shop junk, night, noon and morning, and bellies on you like barristers. We'll see you back. We'll see you back soon. I hope you enjoyed that video. Good luck. Thank you.